Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Justin. We're back again with another video. Thanks for checking out the channel. Today we're just going to talk about the most realistic settings that we can possibly use in Skate. I know a lot of you have been playing this game for it's getting close to a month now. You know, the game's been out since September 16th, so there's a lot of different settings that have been discovered in the game. So I'm just going to go over all the most important settings to have and play if you're really looking for that super realistic, gameplay, especially if you're coming from, simulators like Skater XL, Session, so on and so forth. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the appearance. The one thing that is very important that a lot of people are not talking about is the height of your character. What I mean by that is if you choose the shortest height, which is height 1, you will get the shortest high pop. I will put a video in this to show you what I'm talking about, but what it means is that your high pop will be shorter than height 2 and height 3. Height 3 is going to have the highest high pop, height 2 is going to be the second highest high pop, and then number 1 is going to be the lowest high pop that you can possibly have in the game. And that's very, very important. Right now, we don't know if EA is going to change that in the future, but as of right now, that's just kind of how they have the game set up. So the shorter your character, the shorter your high pop. Now, step 2 is to go over your settings. You want to go to gameplay, and then you want to go to controls. And so right now, these are my controls. I have it on experienced, of course, goofy, flick it sensitivity. That's a very, very important one. Instead of using 100, I would use 0. And the reason why I would say use 0 is because this game has a lot of slow flips, fast flips, high pop, low pop, medium pop, you name it. And with flick it sensitivity being at 0, you have a lot more control of what your character is doing. So if you're trying to do a low kickflip, that flick it sensitivity at 0 is going to allow you to do that low kickflip every single time, versus you trying to do a low kickflip and it's always doing it very high. So flick it sensitivity at 0 is definitely the top 3, one of the most important settings to have if you want it to be as realistic as possible and just have the most amount of control over your character. Here's the rest of my settings as well. You guys are probably already familiar with that. You can kind of, use it as you please, because it's not really that important, to be honest. It just depends on how you play the game. So we're going to go over to assist. Grind assist amount, I have mine at 10, which is another important one. 10 is the lowest that you can have it without it being, too magnetic or too impossible to grind, if that makes sense. Because anything lower than 10, the game really just doesn't register it well. All the creators have played this game for a while. We've all agreed that 10 or 15 is probably the best. I use 10 just because I like my skateboarding game to be as difficult as possible, and I want to be able to work for my tricks. So if you're the type of person that loves to work for your tricks, I would definitely recommend grind assist being at 10. Now, on the opposite side of that spectrum, I have my vert pump assist at 95. The reason being is because vert is very buggy in the game, and it's a little bit difficult to do it, to play it, enjoy it. So I have mine at 95 just because it's the most enjoyable for me. I want to be able to grab. I want to be able to skate the coping and always be able to maintain that speed. As time goes on, I may change it, I might get it down, but for me personally, I have it at 95 because that just makes the game more enjoyable for me, and it also doesn't take away from the realism of the game. It still feels really good at 95. Everything else, I like that. A wild fall high, I got that at 2. Friendlier wipeout thresholds, I got that off. And then minimum pop height, that's another big one. Of the top 3, I have that at 0. Because the reason why I have that at 0 is because I want to be able to do a low kickflip instead of the game telling me to do a high kickflip every time. So if I flick the stick up really fast, it's going to do a low kickflip, versus if I have it at 100 and I try to do that same input, the game is automatically going to do a high kickflip every single time. And you don't want that if you're a very technical skater. If you like to skate ledges, if you like to skate manual pads, you want your minimum pop height at 0 because it's going to look the best and feel the best. Flip tricks, catch assist, I have that off. Dreamline flick it tricks, I have that off. Enable semi-auto pumping, again, I have that on. Prevent low air speeds, I got that on. Require grabs while flipping, I have that off. Auto curb pop, I have that off because I don't want the game to play for me. Same with auto caveman mount. Sprint to climb, off, 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 and off. And so the trick toggles, we have all these on except for when on Wallies require quick ollie. But just because I want to be able to just ride down the wall, I don't want to just have to ollie down the wall every single time. So I got that on. Rewind control styles, this is a preference, but in my opinion, I feel like the hold and spin direction is way better than flick and spin direction because I feel like I have a lot more control over my pre-wind spins. So and I'll kind of go into further detail of that in a little bit because I'm gonna do a little bit of a gameplay demonstration of my settings. Horizontal follow strength, I got those on 3 with the vertical. These are just preference for me. You can kind of use whatever camera settings you would like, but for my onboard camera settings, these are all of my settings right here. Field of view is at 85, maintain camera distance on, onboard camera offset at 4, camera framing at low, and then offboard is really not that important. It's all personal preference, but again, I'm gonna show you guys my stats and what I got going on. These are all my offboard camera settings, so I'm not gonna go into further detail in that because again, it's not that important if you want realism. Onboard camera, got switch side controls, I got that enabled. Dynamic side switching, got that disabled. Camera height control, it's disabled. And the reason why I have switch side controls enabled is because I want to be able to click the left stick if I'm in switch so I can see the other side of my character. Versus, you know, if you don't have that on, you kind of get blinded a little bit where you don't know where you're going as far as like if you're trying to hit a ledge or a manual pad, stair set or whatever. That's why it's kind of important for me to kind of have that enabled. That way I can just quickly switch the camera from left to right. And I'll do a demonstration of that as well. Camera shake intensity off. High speed effects, got that off because I don't really care for VFX settings, and all this other stuff doesn't really matter because I haven't really touched it and it has nothing to do with realism. Same with the climbing settings, but I'll show you guys just in case if you're, you know, wondering if you want that. Also, if you want no visual clutter, these are my settings for that. I would say name tags, you want that off. Scoring ticker off. D-pad on HUD, you can have that hidden. Look at visualizer, you got that off. Invert session marking controls and neighbor stuff, yeah, I got all that off. These are my settings for that. Not going to really go into huge detail about that, but if you kind of want less visual clutter and you want to be able to get rid of everything except for the compass at the top, which is, you know, you can't get rid of that at all, these are probably the best settings if you don't want any type of visual clutter at all. So those are my settings. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and kind of demonstrate to you guys how those settings work in real time. This is kind of the perfect spot for it because we got a low pop ledge right there and then a low pop ledge that goes off of the stair set. So we got that. So back tail, click the left stick, see how it switches sides for you. That way you can see the other side now. So if I want to come back and hit this, I can do that. So, and then, you know, you got to click it. You got to remember to click it to go back. So that's the main thing. So if you don't really like that, you can use the dynamic switch size controls, but sometimes, you know, the game doesn't really do it, you know, as effectively as you want. So that's why I kind of prefer, you know, just clicking it on my own. That way I can have more control of what my game does. And so I'm gonna show you guys the difference between like a low pop kickflip and a high pop. So if I flick the stick really fast like that, it's gonna do low pop. If I had minimum pop height to 100, it would do a high pop kickflip every time. And I can even do it lower than this of what it's doing right now. This is the lowest that you'll be able to get it right here. You got low nollie flips, nollie trays. Like, you see how low everything is? It's like doing a regular flat ground trick as if you were skating in real life. Versus, that's the higher one. That's the high kick flip. That's a high heel flip. That's a high nollie flip. That's why it's important to have that flick it sensitivity at 0, just because you have way more control of how your character does their flip tricks, whether if they do them high or low. See, I purposely did a high kick flip crook, and see, low kick flip crook. Look, it's like low. It can even go lower than that, and I missed it. And I like that. I like how I missed it because it's realistic. Because in real life, you're not gonna get every trick like that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What settings are you guys using? Did you find this video very helpful? Let me know if I should do more videos like this, because as time goes on and as they're releasing more tricks, because they're supposed to be releasing more tricks in the next season update, I'm going to be doing more videos of this and probably even update my settings more. So let me know in the comments if you guys think I should keep doing videos like this. But for the most part, what I do on my YouTube is I post a lot of realistic shorts on my YouTube shorts portion of my page. So you'll see a lot of like realistic montage and just lines and quick lines and stuff like that I just feel like it looks good, and I just want to be able to post it. So check that out if you ever have the chance. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you really enjoy this content, and I'll catch you guys the next time, man. Peace out.